Welcome back to Big Dan's Airgun Review channel. Today we're looking at something different but also strikingly similar. I can hear you all behind the laptops at this moment in time saying, Dan, you've already done a Cometa compact style rifle. What are you doing another one for, you turd? Well, the reason for that is because this one, it is semi the same but also strikingly different. This one is a 2.5 caliber. Now, a lot of people might have been watching our Hatsan Striker video thinking this man's unhinged. He shouldn't be allowed to have a 2.5. He shot pretty much everything he could find. Well, unfortunately for you, I'm a big boy and I get to decide what I want. And what I wanted, as you can tell on that video, was to stock a 2.5. So we had a chat with ASI and we said to them, look, what I think the world needs more 2.5 caliber spring guns because they're just so much fun. And as a hunting application, I just think they'd be absolutely superb. Well, the guys and girls at ASI are an absolutely stunning bunch of people. And they said, I tell you what, we'll have a chat with Cometa and we'll see what can be done. Cometa, again, absolutely superb support and communication from them. Straight away, no problemo, we'll send some down to you, sub 12. So we have exclusive rights at this moment in time, and we have the first batch of them, of the Cometa Fenix 400S 2.5 caliber rifles. And we're going to have a look, the pair of us, I say the pair, however many's watching this at this moment in time, myself and you guys at home, we'll put it that way, we're both going to be learning with this one because I've not shot one of these in anger yet. This is literally the first time I've chucked a scope on one. And you can tell this one's new, because if you have a look at the stock, you can actually see some of like the light sheen that's on there that's usually on a new gun. They put it on the stock and such just to keep it nice and fresh, we'll put it that way. It's still there. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it. First thing we're going to do, we're going to skip the handling and features section. We're going to sort of all squish that together into one little segment in a moment. If you want to see it more in depth, more nerdy numbers and things like that, have a look at our Cometa Ultra Short Carbine and Fenix 400 review that we did, where you'll see the live weighing on the scales and all that sort of stuff, because it's a very similar rifle to them. So we've got the scope on, we're going to put it in the shoulder now. We're going to do chronograph testing, make sure they're full power, because you don't know, simple as, we test every gun for a reason. And then after that, we're going to do a lot of accuracy testing. So let's see what we think of a bit of a Big Dan special at this moment in time, the Cometa Fenix 400S 2.5. Okay, so features and handling. We're going to do a double whammy with this because you don't want to watch the same thing over and over again if you've seen our previous reviews. You've got a nicely finished rubber recoil pad and a rather nice cheek piece as well. Now, this is mainly a right-handed gun. That said, if I just spin that around, you can see it can easily be used by a left-handed shooter. In fact, I know that for a fact because we've had lefties pick up ultra-short carbines before. That said, it is mainly shaped for the right-handed shooter there, but what I'm basically showing you for is there's no sharp edges or anything like that on this side. You can still shoulder it, you can still play with it, but she is mainly designed for righties. You've got a nice bit of checkering in the grip, as you can see there. We'll talk a bit more about that a bit later on. And you do have Cometa's rather lovely automatic and resettable safety. You can see the wingtips hopefully poking out at the rear there. Moving further up, we have got Cometa's two-stage adjustable trigger. This is the same unit as what you'll get on the Fenixes and the Fusion and such like that. And as we go further up, and this is the bit that I do quite like on all these carbine-style rifles that Cometa do where they put the silencer on, it has got an actual proper silencer on the end. Now, the silencer is a mixture of foam, I believe, and baffles, last time I had a look at one, which is fantastic, and she's also all metal. So it's a lovely bit of kit you've got on the end that hopefully will do the business. Now when it comes to handling, how does that all come together when it comes to putting it in your shoulder? Well, first thing I'm going to say is weight-wise, when it's in the shoulder is, I wouldn't say non-existent, but she's not heavy by any shape of the stretch of the imagination. It is a gorgeous to shoulder little gun. Comfortably lighter to shoulder than the my old HW80K that we had on this channel, the carbine model. It's just a lovely little thing in the shoulder. The other thing I'm going to mention is the checkering on here is lovely and deep. For instance, you probably can't see it now, but if I just grip that again, there we go, you can see there. That's the pattern in my fingertips there. That is a sign of absolutely cracking checkering. The other thing we're going to check out real quick is the cocking effort, because she's a 2.5, but you can see there the barrel is quite short. So what we're going to do now is just give it a quick tap to unlock it, then pull her down. And that was just pure silk. No real effort involved in that whatsoever. Put that in there, put the pellet in. Ooh, breech is quite tight. Now granted, we're not exactly using air arms pellets or anything like that. These are the, if I just take the tin lid out from underneath the tin itself, These are the BSA pile arms, as you can tell, so maybe the skirts on these are a bit thick and such like that. The breech is semi-tight, so you might end up with, as you can see there, the dreaded wrinkle around the finger, but it could just be a pile arm thing, to be fair. We'll find out a bit later on. So as you can see, the automatic safety has appeared at the back of the gun. Turn that off, you simply push her forwards, and obviously to re-engage, just put your fingers around those little winglets and easily pull her back. You'll hear it click when it's done. That, in my opinion, is the best safety design. That tied with the Hatsan safety, which is very similar. You just pull a little toggle back and push it forwards. And the Webley safety, like what you saw on our Webley Eclipse and such like that. Fantastic. Easy to use in the field when you're hunting. Push her forwards when you're ready to go. If your quarry gets away and you want to put the rifle safe again, just pull her back. It really is as simple as that. Gorgeous setup on that. Now we get on things that are very good, but you need to tweak it just a tiny little bit. The trigger on this out the box is the same as what you get with the Fusions, as we said, the Fenixes, such like that. You can out the box get a bit of a gritty second stage. So you get that second stage and then it creeps a bit and you feel it's a sort of feeling. Hard to explain. I know I sound and look like an idiot trying to do it. Then it will finally break. To get the true potential out of this trigger, you don't need to do anything to the trigger sears, nothing like that. There's 2 screws behind the blade. Don't really mess yet too much with the larger silver screw. Get to the screw that's hiding behind the blade. It's just a little flat head screw. Get your screwdriver, wind that out, say 2-3 times, then have another shot with the gun, and you will feel that that crunchy, creepy second stage is gone. It's more or less, you'll feel it will stop and then bang. To demonstrate that, I've already done that on this gun. Now, it's just a quick little jobby I've done on this. I've not really fine-tuned it. It was just a quick, give it a couple of spins out, give it a go, and then right, I'm going to show them this. So if I can, it's a little awkward because of where we are and the fact we have a tractor right in front of us. But what I'm actually going to do is, if I can, I'm going to hold that in a way that hopefully you can see my little finger jutting through, like so. And then you can see there, hopefully. That's second stage. You can see it bouncing off, there's no creep, nothing like that. Again, little finger jobby, you can see how little effort I'm putting into that. And then finally, and that's that. The other thing I'm going to mention is, considering how stupidly I'm holding this at this moment in time, that didn't have a whole lot of kick either, did it? Let's do that again and have a proper look. So let's put that in the shoulder now and have a go with it. There we go, that one loaded a bit better. It might have just been a dodgy pile arm perhaps, but let's do it properly now. So taking aim, second stage. That is almost non-existent recoil. When you've actually got it in place, I'm taking aim, it's just a leaf really on the mound that I'm looking at over there. And the sight basically just went up a little bit and then just came round and settled again. That was that. 2.5s usually don't have a lot of recoil, and I'm hoping this is going to be really special when we actually get some targets up. But it might only have very little recoil because it's only doing 6 feet-pounds. So, like all the other guns, it's only fair we're going to crack the chronograph out and have a little go at it. But so far, I'm very excited to take a look at these little buggers. I think they're going to be really quite popular. Let's get that chronograph out now and see if it can dash my dreams and hopes. Okay, so accuracy testing time. We know the rifle's healthy, so it's time now to put some card down the range and see what she can do. Now, pellet wise, we've got a pretty good smattering here. You can see from right to left, we go from light to heavy. So we've got the JSB King Exact Lead Freeze, which is 16.5 grain. We move up to the Marksman pellets, which are online, they say 19.2, but there's a few different sort of results with that. So we got the scales out and had a look, and they come out at 19 grain dead. As we move along, we've got the Pile Arm, which are 21.6 grain. The Air Arms Diablo Fields, which are 25.4. The Super Domes, which takes a bit of a jump up to 31 grains. And the Exact King Heavy Diablos, which are 33.95. So pretty good selection of weight. We're basically moving up through the weight spectrum there. The only thing that's a bit crap, as I'm sure you probably noticed, apologies if you can hear the wind hitting the microphone. The wind is absolutely awful today, genuinely, if you can hear that. If you notice that maybe it's a different sort of time of day when I'm shooting or anything like that, that's basically because I've probably sat down and thought, you know what, I'm going to do this tomorrow or Monday or what have you, just when we get some calmer weather, because it might be a bit of a wasted venture at this moment in time. But you've seen what we've got. We're going to shoot off the backpack, and as we said, target is set up at 27 yards over there. Let's see what the little ultra short 2.5 can do. I'm quite excited for this one, but let's set the camera up and see what we get. Yep, sorry fellas, left the lapel mic out so you can actually hear how rough the wind is and see it. The barn's making noises and everything, so we're gonna have to come back another time, which is gonna make this video take even longer to get done. Bugger. Right then, so final accuracy test. You know I weren't going to end it there. We've got a knockdown target that I think is as old as time itself. There is literal matter growing off of it at this moment in time. Honestly, have no idea when I even bought that. You can see there's bits of rust and everything coming through, but anyways, that's besides the point. We are at our 45 yard mark if you go back there, but we're at roughly, I'd say 42 yards at this moment in time. What we're going to do is we're going to do some long range accuracy testing with a 2.5, because you may have seen on our Hatsan Striker video, we had a guy commenting, and rightfully so perhaps, that he knows that 2.5s can go further than the 25 or 27 yards that we have been shooting them to. So I thought, you know what, that's a great idea. We'll try this one a little bit further back. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the camera down behind the target, and you'll see me, there's just the chair there. You can see the rifle resting on it at the moment, hopefully at this moment in time. Apologies if you can't, I know the sun's right in the corner. But you're going to see me walk straight down there, and we're going to do this in real time. We're using the Air Arms Diablo field pellets, and we're going to be shooting, as I'm sure you can guess, at this knockback here. What I will say is, I'm not expecting the rifle to actually knock and lock the targets back, obviously, because a 2.5 is going to be coming down with this, so it's going to knock it back a bit, but it's not going to lock it back up. But we're going to see how we get on. We've got 5 targets to hit, as you can tell, and we're only going to be using 5 pellets. So 5 out of 5 would be absolutely perfect, but let's be realistic here. This is me shooting, and we're not, like I said, using a table or anything like that. In fact, we're not even barely going to be resting. And as soon as I sit down, as soon as my chad's on the chair, I'm firing. Heart rate's going to be pumping. A little bit of wind, but it's not really worth mentioning, to be fair. Let's see how we get on. Sweating bullets now. Okay, so final verdict. What do we think of the little Cometa 400 2.5 Fenix S? They got to come up with different names for these, they really do. But yeah, what do we think? Well, I'm in love with it, simple as. You knew I would be. It's a 2.5 spring gun, like with the Hatsan. I fell pretty much immediately in love with that. What I'm going to say though, no gun is perfect, as we say with each of these reviews. What is the negative or negatives? What can we find with this? Well, it's pretty much the same as with the standard Fenixes, and that's that the trigger and trigger guard is still plastic. Shouldn't really be plastic. A bit of brass on there I think would be absolutely beautiful, and maybe some brass screws to go with it on the forestock as well would be fantastic. Don't get me wrong, the trigger, again, this is not a negative as such, the trigger also out the box has got that typical Fenix sort of slightly gritty, creepy second stage. With a little bit of tweaking though, just with that little screw that's hidden behind the trigger blade. I think it was 3 turns out or 4 turns out we did with this, and that trigger just became beautiful. It really did. Still not quite a record unit, I wouldn't say, but you'll be shocked how close that actually gets to it. Fantastic. The other thing I'm going to mention, it's only a silly little nitpick more than anything else, because obviously there's a bit of a monstrous scope on there and it still fits perfectly. Scope rail, not very long, as you can see there. So if you've got maybe a bit of a bigger monster you want to put on this, you may maybe struggle to get it set up quite the way you want it to. To be honest, again, like we said, it's a nitpick. Other than that, there's not really much worth mentioning, other than the fact that 2.5 pellets are starting to get quite expensive these days, as are most of them, unfortunately. But that's a 2.5 thing, not a Fenix thing. Positives, right, where do we start? Pretty much the same as the rest of the Fenix range. That trigger, as we said, once sorted, is fantastic. And if you do decide to pick up a Cometa off of us that has this trigger unit, send us a message on the contact us section of the website at bigdansairguns.co.uk. I will tweak the trigger for you and you'll see yourself just how nice these are. Handling wise, something like maybe a 99S might be a bit lighter than this, marginally lighter, but it's really not far off. And the interesting thing is, normally I would say that I've overscoped it with this 416x50 on there. Ideally, something like this, normally I would have put like the 3 number 32 AO Conus on here, because it looked a little bit prettier as well. Even with that fairly chonky scope on there, it's not heavy. You could lug it around the field all day long. Again, I think without the scope it was about, was it 7 pounds-ish, around that mark? But it's balanced so well, you don't barely feel the scope on there. I know that sounds like salesman talk, and I do apologise about that, because of course you notice a bit of weight. Jesus, you're putting something on there, but it's just such a lovely little thing to shoulder. The checkering on it is fantastic. A little bit on the 4-stock would have been nice as well, but at the end of the day, this is going to be a hunting gun. You can get the Fenixes in the walnut stocks, where they have got the checkering on the 4-stock too. The 2.5, would you, I don't know, it would be nice, I guess, but I'm not massively upset the fact it's not there, and there's some really nice grain coming through there as well. And the silencer on it is a proper little silencer. It is an all-metal, baffled and foam-lined bit of kit, and you can hear, hopefully, during the handling section, the shot cycle, there's just no twang to that action or real noise from the action full stop. The other thing is, like we may have mentioned, the lack of kick, despite the fact that it's a lightweight gun. Hopefully you could see that as well. The only time it kicked was when we put the lead freeze in it, and that I think is just because they were so tight in there. They're worth giving another go though, maybe, if we put this gun in another video, because I've got that feeling the backpack just didn't quite suit the recoil, if that makes sense, with those lead freeze in there. We'll try it offhand maybe one of these days and see how we get on with them. But accuracy wise, moving on to that, it is superb. That is their cold hammer forged barrel going at work. You can see their 5 group all day with the Air Arms Diablo field. The FTTs, I'm not sure about that, because upon inspection I think that is a pellet going in there, but I'm not 100% if that's not one coming back out. But that's a 20 group even with that all day long. And the Marksmans, which is fantastic. So as we mentioned, lead pellets are getting more expensive these days, but the Marksmans are still a cheaper pellet. Still did extremely well at 27 odd yards. So accuracy wise, superb. Handling wise, superb. Something else I'm going to show you too. As we mentioned, 40 yards isn't usually what you think of with a 2.5 caliber pellet. However, look at this. When we were shooting the metal target, and again with this, 4 shots out of 5 smack straight into what we was aiming for. Elbows on knees, no table, no rest, no nothing, 40 odd yards. But take a look at this. These are 2 of the pellets that I managed to find at the base, more or less, of this target. Now bear in mind, most people would say this is out of the range really of a 2.5, and maybe if you was hunting it might be so. But look at the energy that's still carrying downrange. That has completely mushroomed to nothing. Could be the brilliant Air Arms pellets. Could be simply 2.5 being underrated, who knows. I do think it deserves more of a following, at least here in the UK, because I'm very quickly getting to that point where pretty much anything you can do with the 2.2, you can basically do with the 2.5. It just takes that little bit more holdover. And I know there's the argument, well, I don't want to keep coming up so much, but then if that was the case, everyone would shoot 177s because the 2.2 drops more than that. But again, it is what it is. It's horses for courses. Now here's the thing I want you guys and girls to do, because my opinion is just an opinion. How's the saying go? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. I want you guys and girls to let me know what you think in the comments down below, because as we may have mentioned already, we ordered a few of these in to try them because I had a feeling these were going to be pucker, and thankfully I've been proven right. Now that doesn't happen much, so I'm reveling in this, but yes, I think I was proven right, because we've had nothing but overwhelming praise from the guys that picked these up when we had the few come in as a trial run. I want you guys and girls to let me know what you think of the rifle down below in the comments. So as we said, lifetime warranty with this, just as with the others, cold hammer forged barrel, auto safeties, all that good stuff you get with the other Cometas, but in big boy caliber. If you think this is something you want to see or wouldn't mind having a go at, let us know in the comments, because I'm going to make ASI, I'm going to force them, ASI who are the importer for these, to read the comments down below and see what they think. If you don't like it, just say, not really my cup of tea, don't think I'll be interested, and we won't bother. Simple as. But what you guys say is always going to be more important than what I say. Your voices are louder than mine. So have a little comment down below, say what you think of the gun, and we'll see what they say, and I shall make them read it, rest assured. Thanks ever so much for watching. We're going to get our next review done as soon as we can. Apologies this one took so long. As you saw, the weather was not behaving at all, and then other bits got in the way. But we'll see what we've got planned next, and we'll get filming as soon as we can. So thanks ever so much for watching. Apologies for my dangly bits in your face, and I will see you next time.